today. So earlier today, Sony came out with their state of play. Um, it's basically like a combination of different trailers, right? It's like a little show they have where they show off what's upcoming for the PlayStation, in the year and then in the years to come, like a mini E3 for PlayStation. Um, let's bring up the window as soon as I find the button. Here it is. Check it out. That's their YouTube channel. Um, so you know, a lot of different type of games. I guess we can even like watch this video, but I think we'll go. I guess we'll just click on this and then go through it and talk about what I thought, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I'm looking forward to. Um, let's make sure it's not too loud. I guess it starts off with like typical. Oh, it starts off with this Helldivers thing. I'm not interested at all in Helldivers. Still a little slow, my browser here, and it's even more pixelated when it's streaming, I guess. Pretty shitty. I wanted to kind of try out 480p. You think we can make 480p work? Okay, so I don't really care too much about Helldivers. The thing about this game, though, is that it's basically inspired by what's it called? Starship Troopers, that awesome movie by Paul Verhoeven, which is a satire on fascism. But this game like leans into the fascism because you're actually playing the freaking soldiers. You're not like it's a different thing that the medium of gaming, right? It's interactive. You're put into the feet of into the shoes of these characters. And I don't know if this game is gonna like actually delve into like the whole like satirical aspect of Starship Troopers, where it's pretty much making fun of a fascist state killing, sending troopers to space to kill all these bugs, which is like, a commentary on just imperialism in general and colonialism. The bugs replacing, the have-nots and the other, not really. I mean, the others, like another country or other peoples. Um, but I feel like this is all about the shooty shoot, right? Because it's a shooting game with friends, and so I'm pretty sure it'll have snippets of a little bit of like propaganda, fake propaganda in it, like we saw in previous trailers. But I doubt it'll be the focus. I'm pretty sure, it's gonna be more about uh, forget about politics. Just shoot these bugs. Now this game, freaking Stellar Blade, I'm actually looking forward to. Um, well, probably one of the games I get when I get a PS5 eventually, right? Um, we got some beautiful character design here. Now it's definitely is a bit male gazy, kind of like you know, people compare it to Nier Automata, Bayonetta, um, and I mean I'm into sexy stuff. I just wish that like it would be more equal opportunity sexiness, right? As we see upcoming here, there's going to be a character. I think they call him Adam, right? The main character here, Eve, is who you play as. But then she has like a friend called Adam, and I think they're supposed to represent, Adam and Eve, right? The first, I guess, humans who are going to repopulate this Earth, I guess, maybe by killing all the monsters. But look at Adam here on the left. Like he's fully coated, he's fully dressed up, a baggy hoodie, and then she's got the skin tight stuff as well as as the younger character who does this character here, right? She like fixes up your weapons or whatever, and like it's just a typical more skin tight, sexified female characters versus the male characters who just tend to be typical broy, uh, baggy clothes or just mostly covered up, right? So it would be cool if like if the Adam character was also kind of like had a skin tight suit, you know? That's one thing that I think people rightly criticize Kojima, for example, for like sexualizing his female characters, but he at least had Solid Snake in that skin tight suit in the Metal Gear Solid games, and you know that'd be cool. But in general, like there's some variety here. I mean, she's got like a nice jacket. And the thing that I like about this that they've showed off is that this character has all these cool outfits. Like it's like rare these days. I feel like to see protagonists with like a bunch of cool different outfits. I think I remember Final Fantasy X-2 had a bunch of cool outfits you can put on for their characters. That was back in the PS2, and then even near like in Nier Automata, which I've been playing a little bit of, like it's one main outfit, and you get like some hair dye and stuff, and I think you get some outfits, but you have to like beat the super secret mission, like arena missions or something, which takes like hours and hours. But it looks like this one's gonna have a cool different outfits you can pick throughout. And I'm liking the action. I mean, I do like my hack and slashes. Of course, I like the Souls games. I mean, look at that. Look at that cool checkered hoodie there. I mean, I'm gonna. That's one of the main things. I mean, I'm all about fashion Souls. Right, one of the main things I'll be hunting in this world. Right, it's like let's find a cool jacket to put on. And she does get like a turtleneck. I think later on we'll see. Got some jackets. So there's some variety here. It's not like it's just exclusively skin tight rubber suit she's wearing or latex suits, whatever. Of course, she has a British voice actress. That's a common thing we see these days, right? That's fine. Interesting design here. Definitely post-apocalyptic. Definitely inspired by Nier Automata and like some cyberpunk stuff. The action is probably like Devil May Cry or something. I would like to see more with the gameplay to see how it plays. Well, robots. Is she a robot? I think she might be a robot. Yeah. Anyways, maybe we'll like skip through some of this stuff because look at that. It's a lot of cool designs here. Stellar Blade. April 26th. So that's pretty soon. I was thinking that like if From Software announces the DLC for Elden Ring on the anniversary, which is the 26th, I think, even of February, some 20 something of February. Then people are speculating like, oh yeah, maybe they're gonna release it in April, the DLC. I'm hoping it won't clash with this, right? Because I want a lot of people to play the DLC at launch for the sake of multiplayer, for the sake for my sake, because I want to co-op. I want to invade during peak times. Anyways, but I'm hoping it doesn't clash. We'll see. we'll see, but that's pretty soon. And I guess here I guess the CEO of Shift Up here is talking again. Male perspective, definitely male gazy, but I'll still play this, and like I'd rather be playing Eve than Adam, right? In this game. That's me. I mean, ever since like basically ever since like it's a little bit personal, but ever since like I started exploring my gender expression, I've been gravitated more towards playing more femme characters anyway. So you get a cool femme character, even like a non-binary character, which I don't really ever see, but that'd be cool if we did get to see more non-binary characters. But in general, a cool action game with a femme character definitely piques my interest. Home Stars, I'll probably give it a shot because it's going to be on PS Plus. Looks like a fun little party game or just a multiplayer game, I guess. Um, People compare it to freaking that's what's I was gonna say Squid Game. What's it called? Something squids on Nintendo. Splatoon it's called. It's called Splatoon, not squids. But it's about little squids spraying a bunch of shit on the floor, right? A bunch of ink. David Diver, I've never got into that. I heard it's pretty cool. Godzilla's coming. Yippee. I definitely want to watch that Godzilla movie that came out recently. Godzilla Minus One. I hear a lot of good things about that. Godzilla Minus One. Definitely like Shin Godzilla that came out a few years earlier from Japan. The Japanese Godzillas, that's where it's at. I mean, all the Hollywood Americanized Godzillas, like I can't think of a good one. I mean, the one, I guess the more recent reboot, not the most recent Godzilla film, but the one I think Gareth Edwards did it or someone. Maybe I'm confusing the directors, but there was a decent one with Bryan Cranston in it. But then besides that one, I think the rest of the American Godzillas are pretty shitty, right? Anyways, Godzilla Minus One, I think that takes place like during like post World War II, and it's supposed to be pretty cool, pretty good. Um, V Rising. This was cool. I love vampires. Anything with vampires piques my interest. So I definitely want to play this game at some point. I don't know when that would be, but it'd be cool. I'm not that too much into these survival strategy games, and also like the isometric view. Maybe I should be more open-minded about it, but it kind of turns me off a little bit. I just like to like have a more immersive, closer look of the world. I guess I'm just spoiled with all the 3D action games, all the 3D RPGs that have come out since Skyrim. It's like I don't want to go backwards. But I don't know. I give those games a try every now and then, so I might give that a try. I think they're gonna show Silent Hill. This is pretty cool. It seems like it's just a short little demo. It's like actually out now, I guess. You know, I guess for those who have a PS5 can play it. I definitely would try it out. Again, we have a female protagonist here. That's cool. She seems a cool, like unique character there. We haven't really seen too much of. And it's like I guess like the phone is a big part of it. That's kind of cool, but it might be a little bit too creepy, especially like the bugs. I hate seeing the bugs. But I do want to get back into playing more horror games. I remember like I played Silent Hill 3. That was the only Silent Hill I really played back on the PS2, and that like creeped the hell out of me. That fucking gave me nightmares. It was really scary to play, and like I was probably like 15 or something, and like, um, but it was compelling, and I haven't ever felt that scared before. Like even like scary movies can't quite get me as scared as scary games like that, right? 'Cause it's like you're immersed in it. Turn the lights off, put some headphones on. Damn, I haven't really played a scary game like that in a while. I kind of want to dive in, you know. But you know, it's one of those things you have to be in the mood, right? You have to be in the right setting to be like, okay, let's get scared. I'm not, super interested in this game either, and I kind of wish they like actually made Silent Hill 3. Doesn't it? It looks too similar to freaking Leon from Resident Evil 4. Like it's like basically a slightly thinner Leon, you know? Do we really want to always be playing as the blonde Leon type in these horror games? You know, it's a kind of, so it's unfortunate that other one, the one we saw before, Silent Hill Short Message, I think it's called. It's unfortunate that that's just like a free little demo, like a free little teaser. Like if only they could put the resources into that game to make it like this, you know? But of course not. But then we got something like this. BioShock creator Kevin Levine. I heard that in his studio, isn't there like some issues there where like people are complaining about his direction, like him not knowing, what to do, and they have to keep like changing the things they've been working on. I mean, they've been working on this game for a while, but it does look cool. It does look like a Kevin Levine game. I guess it's like an updated form too, because it's about like here we see people doing selfies and stuff, commenting on social media, perhaps in this weird futuristic world. I don't know. Doesn't seem too insightful though. It seems it's kind of a mishmash of things I've seen. We'll see how it goes. The cool thing though is that it seems to have a female protagonist. You know, we're on theme here. There's some to it. Got some painted nails, but we see that she, when they spray her chest here, one of the enemies, you can see it's a female model, right? Or presenting, or AFAB at least. Did we skip by it? Here, see, she sprays paints her chest there. Graffiti. That's like pretty violating to be like graffitied on your fucking body. She's being marked, with some kind of. It kind of looked like an upside down question mark, some kind of symbolism there. It looks like their bodies are being recreated. She dies and then she gets resurrected or something, perhaps. That could be a cool mechanic. Looks really neat. Looks really cool. Getting just like into space, I guess. Fix what you broke, Judas. So we'll see. Probably that's not gonna come out for several freaking years, probably. I imagine. I'm gonna say 2028. That's how long it's gonna take for that game to come out. Okay, maybe like 2027 at the latest. They have no date, man. They have no date. So I'm not confident in it. These games get delayed a whole bunch. There's games that have been like announced like 10 years before the release, right? It's like sometimes this stuff is like whack. So that's a cool VR game. This Metro game, um, kind of looks like Half-Life Alyx. I tried VR like years ago, for a little bit. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool looking down and seeing a body there and walking around. I do wish more VR games were more immersive like that. This one is like the other VR games I've seen a lot where like you don't see your arms, it's just your floating hands. And I guess that's to help with I guess the character rendering and maybe motion sickness or something. I think it's like a little more difficult to like render your character at all time, and like maybe when you cross your arms, it'll just look weird animation wise. There's probably some quirks there that this industry still have to figure out when it comes to VR. But I don't have access to VR, and there's nothing really compelling enough for me to go out there and buy a VR, particularly a PSVR 2, right? I don't even have a PlayStation 5. Um, but this looks cool though. You know, kind of like VR Skyrim in a way, a dungeon crawler. Dark and Darker. A bunch of these games coming out. And the ability to like freaking like parry and block, and grab the skull like that. You know, that's the promise of of VR, right? That's really cool. I like to do that. I like to do that, but I don't want to do that so much that I'm willing to go out there and pay. You know, I think the cheapest VR set is like the Quest or something. It's like $500 or something like that. $400 maybe. You know, maybe in a couple years. And then we got Dragon's Dogma. I played the first one. Pretty fun. I played it on the PS3, and then I got it again on the PS4. And I played some of it, but I kept creating new characters because I kept trying out the cool new vocations. Like unlike the Souls games where you can just like kind of respect your character and stuff. Like you couldn't do that. I don't think in Dragon's Dogma. You had to like start a new character or something, and that means I had to like, and there was only one save file per account, so I had to make 3 accounts to just try 3 different builds. And I'm considering going back to it, and I may do that. I don't know, but the freaking action in this looks pretty cool. I mean, look at that. And the thing that I think that is revealing in this trailer in particular is that you can switch between weapons now or something. I'm pretty sure you couldn't do that. I think only the Ranger had the ability in the first one. The Ranger had the ability to switch from their bows to their daggers or something like that. And then, but then in other classes, he just had one weapon type at a time, I think. So look at that. You had the staff with the ice, and then you can switch over to that big old sword. That's pretty cool. And the magic in these games, like, it's just, you know, really cool. Not quite matched, you know. I think Elden Ring got pretty close with a lot of the cool magic, but the effects of the magic in this game are next level, I think. You get to climb on things too. It looks pretty cool, you know, pretty cool. Definitely will play that at some point. Unfortunately, it releases the same day that this next game comes out, Rise of the Ronin, which is another game I'm looking forward to. That I probably will play. So it's kind of like Team Ninja. Is it Team Ninja or Team Ninja, I think. The people behind Neo, which is, you know, people say it's a Souls-like, kind of is. But it's that type of combat, maybe more simplified in the open world. And what I didn't like about Neo was all the loot. I hated going around and like having to like pick up all the loot and look at my menu and like try to figure out, okay, I got this sword. It looks the same, but it has 2 points higher in damage. So I'll drop this other sword. It was just a hassle. Like every other enemy, you would have to like pick up a weapon and like figure out if it's better than one you have on or not. But this is looking a lot more like Sekiro, you know, mixed with Ghost of Tsushima, I guess. That enemy right there definitely looks like a Sekiro enemy, the centipede enemy, I think they're called. And like that deflecting, I fucking love deflecting in Sekiro. I want to do that here. And one thing I'm kind of miffed about, kind of upset about this freaking marketing of this game is that they're not apparently talking about the character creation and there's like a twin that's also in the game. That's your like twin in the game. It's kind of like a dual protagonist situation, but I think you just choose one to play as, and apparently you can you can go to character creator in this game and you can create your own. So according to this thing I looked up, character creation confirmed for protagonist and sword twin. So apparently in some Japanese interview in Famitsu, I'm pretty sure Famitsu magazine, probably the most famous gaming magazine over there in Japan, they asked this question: what is the hidden sword? And then the creator's like, the hidden sword is a team. This is translated by way, so it's not exact. And always demonstrates its strength as a pair, or rather, the two of them are one. As a hidden sword, the protagonist is engaged in various missions with his hidden sword buddy, known as his other half, and for some reason becomes Ronin. The existence of this hidden sword that is one and the same is the key to the story. And then here's the key thing: the main character of this work is a character creation method. Each of the two main characters can be created separately, and the player can choose which one to control to advance the story. So, this is a rough translation, but it would seem to me, it seems that confirmation there's like character creator, kind of like in the Neo games, right? Neo games, they have really good character creators. That means you could probably choose your body type, all the cool stuff, and you can also like create your twin, I guess, your hidden sword twin, your buddy, as they say here. It'd be cool if like you could switch between them back and forth, but it seems that you just choose one. Choose which one to control to advance. It says to control to advance the story. So what if you can you play as the other one in side missions or something? I don't know. That could be kind of cool. It would be cool, to create two different types. Maybe have two different body types and have two different, you know, races. I don't know how detailed it will be, but I imagine it could be, and it may be. It may not be too detailed. Maybe they'll might want to make them, for example, like you have to be like, and like maybe it's just going to be a Japanese character you can customize, but not go too much further. Hopefully, there's gender options, but we'll see. We'll see. But it seems exciting, and I wish they talked about it more in the marketing. But I don't know if they're afraid to. Like, I think it might turn off some hardcore dudes or something who like want a set male character. I don't know, or a set character. And maybe there is some translation issues. Maybe it's not exactly. Maybe it's just a customization a little bit. Maybe it's not, like I said, not that detailed. Maybe it's you still have to play a samurai dude with customizable hairstyles, perhaps. I don't know, but we'll see. And maybe they're still working on that, and maybe they don't want to be too upfront about it yet before they know what they're gonna do. But it's coming out in March, so it's coming out soon. People are probably gonna be deciding, definitely a lot of the Souls players are gonna be deciding, oh, should I play Dragon's Dogma 2 or should I play this one? And for the patient gamers out there, they're just gonna wait for a sale in a year. But if any of these two games were on PS4, I would consider getting them pretty soon. But I don't know. It's kind of just like, I guess I'm just not a super duper hardcore gamer, but it's hard for me to like keep up with the consoles like when they come out. Like I was playing on the PS3 for a while, when the PS4 came out, and I only got a PS4 like I think in 2016 or something. Or maybe it was like later than that. Maybe it was like 2018. It was whenever Bloodborne was on PS Plus. That's when I got the PlayStation 4. Anyway, Until Dawn. That was a fun game. I played it. It was cool. It was an interactive horror movie. Um, it was. I feel like I kind of like the Quarry a little more than this one, but it's been a while since I played the Until Dawn. But it's the same people who made it, and apparently the people who worked on it are working on this remake because like they separated from the studio to create their own studio. The people who made this, the original, and so now they're working on this as a, I guess just it seems to be a remaster. Um, and the reason they're doing this is because they just announced they're gonna release a movie on based on this game. So they want to synergize the whole shebang, movie and video game at the same time. You know, they found success doing that with The Last of Us when The Last of Us one was a TV aired as a TV show on HBO, which is a pretty good show, I would say. Recommend. Um, and you know, people watched it on HBO, and then they started buying the game more as they do. Kind of stuff like it kind of served as advertisement, right? Um, so that's why they remastered the first one recently of Last of Us One. They're but doing the same thing, so I don't imagine this to be anything too spectacular. It looks about the same as the PS4 version. Probably really unnecessary, kind of just pretty much a crash grab, I would say. Look at that. Speaking of Kojima, here's Kojima presenting his latest Death Stranding 2. Giving me some Cronenberg vibes. And Leah Sadu is in here. In fact, she was in a recent Cronenberg movie, Crimes of the Future, which is a pretty good movie. I recommend it for any Cronenberg heads out there. David Cronenberg, the body horror dude. She was pretty good in that movie, and but yeah, it's giving me a lot of body horror vibes here. And that's George Miller, by the way, the director. He's the guy who does the Mad Max films. Coming out with the prequel to Furiosa this year, I think, with Anya Taylor-Joy playing as the younger version of Charlize Theron's character from Fury Road. Excited about that. But we're talking here about Kojima, who's a a cinephile as well. So he likes to bring in all his movie buddies in here, and he's trying to like I guess bridge. You could say uh bridge have make a bridge between cinema and video games here, right? He's always been into that with the Metal Gear Solid series, and he likes to be weird, doesn't he? And I'm digging it. I like it. It's like when do we get like avant-garde stuff like this in gaming? Never, except when it's like indie games or something, right? So it may not always jive with your taste, but or my taste sometimes. And some of the dialogue in his other games are kind of not good, and some of the character choices, the character designs are kind of off. But in general, I like the commitment and just the oddballness of his creations, and he's going all out with this one. It would seem to the point where he's not even going to tell you why they're all blue right now. I guess what they're inside that little ship or something that came out of the baby's mouth, and so this is an alternate dimension or something, and a different, and that's where their skin is blue. Maybe they're replications of themselves. Maybe it's all digit. I don't know. There's no point really. It's just enjoy the ride, and then maybe analyze it once you're done with the game, sit down and give it a big old think. But cool design. Like, look at those gloves. Where have you seen that little necklace glove that can work as your mask when you're doing some operations on Norman Reedus here? um, Later, that little rubber glove lights her cigarette. Now, this little character here is like a freaking stop motion puppet. And as we know, Kojima is big friends with Guillermo del Toro. And he's actually in the first one, right? And I think his voice appears here in this trailer. He acts as a character in the Death Stranding 1, Guillermo del Toro. And he recently made the Pinocchio stop-action movie for Netflix, I think. And so I imagine, Kojima is kind of like wants to impress Guillermo by like putting a little wooden puppet in there and actually animating it at like 12 frames per second or something to like mimic stop motion frames per second. You know, that's what I imagine he's doing, and that's the style choice he decided. And maybe even Guillermo was like, "Hey, you should have it so the puppet animates at like 12 frames per second." And so, but I think it would have been better if it's just updated like 60 like the game, because it kind of like throws you off, and you know maybe if it was like a movie it would make more sense, but because it is an interactive game it just like it clashes with the frame rate because the rest of the game, so I'm sure a lot of people weren't going to complain about that. Definitely as an aesthetics choice, maybe you know a little showing off, like, oh, like Kojima's like, oh, I'm a cinephile. I'm doing it because because I'm paying homage to stop motion animation. You know, films like what's it called, the Spider-Verse movies. They animate at lower frames to replicate the just animation styles of older times, 2D animation, and like, but you gotta get used to it. And it's also like it just fits with the world and the theme of the motif and aesthetic of the movie. It's a it's an ambitious animated movie with different types of animation styles and within. But this is a freaking game, like full like hyper realistic graphics, right? You would expect that little puppet to like animate in the same way that the rest of the people in here animate. Maybe it could be more robotic, maybe they could do it that way. Anyway, but maybe a little nitpick. But look at this character design. It is a bit reminiscent of the Joker, of the Crow, perhaps. Um, but it's got its own Kojima style with the armor, and you got the guitar weapon. And this is Troy Baker, right? So got some good performances here. Good performance. I think that he's I haven't really played Death Stranding, the first one. I like watched some clips and I watched some people play it, but I never really was too interested in it. But it seems that maybe he's gotten a different writer to help him out or something, or has got more collaboration from his film buddies. But this performance here by Troy Baker's is, in the direction here in general, it's just, I think it's better than typical Kojima stuff. Typical Kojima direction, it would seem so. I think he's upgraded a little bit, and maybe he's getting, like I said, more help from his buddies. But this is just some wild stuff, you know. We got a robot baby over here making baby noises, shooting some lightning, electricity from this electric guitar, literally an electric guitar, and then it turns to an axe. That's just some stylish stuff you would see in your dreams, you know. Not and Kojima's like, okay, let's just put that out into reality. Let's make it real. Um, and so it is so. It looks like some fun, you know, domestic life stuff going on too. You know, I don't know the story really from Death Stranding, so I don't know exactly what's going on. I couldn't tell you, but I'm sure people who have couldn't tell you either. But it looks sweet, like a sweet little game about a little dad carrying his little baby out in the apocalypse, fixing the world, trying to join everybody together, tear down those borders on the beach. It's called, and check that out. I do wish, you know, I kind of want rather I would rather play as Fragile here, is her code name I think in the first one. Leah Seduce character, like in the previous freaking trailer, we saw her carrying a baby, and she was the focus of that trailer. She seems to be playing an important part. Is Kojima gonna do a switcheroo like he did with Metal Gear Solid 2, where we start off playing as Solid Snake, and then after the intro mission, we started playing as Raiden. You know, that was actually a sexy male character. Again, Kojima sometimes does add some sexy male characters to his. I mean, Marinas you could say sexy too, but I guess what I mean is like fashion-wise, that's this skin suit and all. Um, but are we gonna play as Fragile as Leah Sedu's character? Is that a twist upcoming? You know, because a lot of the marketing for this game has featured her a lot. You know, I'd like to do that. That'd be fun. Even you know, maybe play some other characters. Maybe play as Elle Fanning here. Like look at all these A-list actors Kojima's befriending. And then there was some other actors in the first one. Matt Mikkelsen, is he coming back? I would like to play as Matt Mikkelsen, dude. If I could play as Matt Mikkelsen, that would be pretty fucking cool. Like, who wouldn't want to play as Hannibal? I mean, um, but really, this Sam Bridges, do you really want to just play him the whole time again? I don't know. Maybe you do, but probably they'll probably have to pay the actors a lot more to be playable. That's probably the thing too. Norman Reedus probably didn't like ask for too much, but maybe compared to Matt Mikkelsen or someone else, or maybe like Leah Sadu, like maybe they would require a lot more money to be a playable character, because that will require, you know, a bunch of players around the world making you do silly things like run in circles, and that requires maybe more money. If you want me to do some teabagging, you know, for millions of players around the world, you're gonna pay me the big bucks. And Norman Reedus is like, I don't care, whatever. Just speculation. I don't know. I haven't seen the contracts. Look at all those names, and there's probably more too. And then I guess the most exciting part of this whole fucking thing is they're working on another game. Kojima's working on another game, and it's a tactical espionage game. And it's going to be for PlayStation, I guess. And it's exciting because, like, I think the Metal Gear series was like pretty much the first game series that really wowed me in gaming back in the 2000s, I guess. Damn. Um, I got that Metal Gear Solid 2. I saw that commercial. I was like 12 years old or 11 years old or something. And I was like, damn, that looks so real. Fucking this spy, like, in the rain, jumping around on a tanker, an oil tanker. And then I also got, like, you know, and it lived up to those graphics. That game, Metal Gear Solid 2. I got scammed by Final Fantasy X though. I remember Final Fantasy X trailer had that awesome CG trailer, and I was like, damn, I'm gonna get that because I want to get that because that's like super, like even better. That's like high quality CG movie graphics, and that that was a cinematic in the game, but the actual gameplay was much less graphically intensive. But anyways, back to this Kojima person here. This Kojima person. I mean, people love this Kojima guy. What the fuck? Like, remember the Game Awards? That was so awkward. They like Jeff Keighley brought Kojima out, and they were like, "Oh, he's amazing," and then freaking Jordan Jordan Peele came out and was like, "He's amazing. I can't tell you anything about what he's doing, but it's so amazing." And they were just like bowing down to him like some kind of god of the gamers or something. And it was kind of embarrassing, really. But anyway, he just has some cool ideas, this Kojima guy. But it'd be nice if we had, maybe revered other creators as well, and maybe had opportunities for other visionaries. It'd be cool if we had more diverse visionaries, kind of like the film industry, and maybe Kojima, is a step in that direction. He's trying to unite with the film industry here, talking about how Sony they make movies and games. Check it out. Um, so maybe in 10 years we'll have some more diverse visionaries in the gaming scene, right? Um, so they're talking about the espionage game. Of course, I'm excited about that. I played MGS5 for so long, and the cool thing about MGS5 is you can like recruit soldiers, and then you basically kidnap them. But in my head canon, it's like recruiting them to my militia, I guess. Um, and I would say in my head canon, it was like a communist militia that was wanting to end nuclear war, right? And that was, you know, that was my head canon. And then you can recruit different soldiers. You can even recruit, female soldiers. And so I played a lot as a female snake in a lot of the missions. And so I'm hoping like, and there was actually a character creator in that game, MGS5. You can create a, because it's a little bit of a spoiler really about that game, but there's a section where you create your own character, but it was a male character because it's basically you were creating a snake, a version of Snake. So I'm hoping that he brings that back and you can create your own spy instead of playing as a character like Sam Bridges or something, and then you can choose your body type, all that. That'd be great. He says it's a next generation brand new IP, next generation action espionage game. So he that could just mean that like it's a next evolution of that type of game for him, not necessarily talking about console generations. But I would imagine that this game that's coming up, you know, they say they're gonna work on it more intensively after Death Stranding 2 comes out, which is gonna be in 2025. So, it probably won't get really started until 2026. And and it probably won't come out until like 2029 or something. And I feel like it's gonna come out for the PS6. It's just there's no way it's gonna come out on PS5, dude. Like Death Stranding might even be delayed, to like 2026. Like, dude, and he's working on that other game with Jordan Peele, like the Game Wars. We talked about that already, right? With some other actors. Um, he's got a lot on his plate. So he may in fact actually be teasing that this game's going to be for PS6, and it's like, damn man, I don't even have a PS5 yet. Then I got to get a PS6 to play this new tactical espionage game from Kojima. And I guess he's indulging in his cinematic aspirations by pointing to this little drone camera. We get a zoom out of Kojima Pictures. They were in Hollywood this whole time. They were in LA. Check it out. Kojima Pictures, of course, is a Sony company, right? It's their movie studio. Um, and underneath there says Fizzint, right? Fizzint, and it's apparently a code name for a working title, I guess, for that game. He's working on that spy game, technical espionage game. And I've seen some reactions. People haven't really even noticed this. I think like people see the Kojima Pictures logo and that's it. But that's apparently the name of the working title of the game. So that was the tease right there. What could that mean? Physical intelligence, psychic, no, physical, something like that. I don't know. It could be anything, but intelligence, central intelligence, just that's intelligence in general. Refers to just like spy stuff and governments spying on different governments. You know what I'm talking about. Intelligence, and then physical perhaps is the beginning part. Maybe there's some weird tentacles involved. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? But we're not gonna know for another like 5 years. And then of course they're teasing another state of play for the Final Fantasy Rebirth game coming out. I played Final Fantasy VII Remake. I liked it. I never played the original Final Fantasy VII. I wasn't into turn-based RPGs besides Pokemon when that came out. When Final Fantasy VII came out, I'm pretty sure the original for PlayStation, I was probably playing Pokemon on my Game Boy. I was playing Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Silver, one of those games. And for a reason, I was okay with playing turn-based games on my Game Boy, but I didn't want to play any turn-based games on the consoles. I had a Super Nintendo. I never got a PlayStation. I skipped PlayStation 1. I just went to PlayStation 2. Although I did play Final Fantasy 10 because like I said, I got duped into buying that game, or at least asked my parents to buy it for me when I was like 12 or whatever. Um, yeah, that's the state of play. State of play. I am looking forward to. Um, I'm looking forward to this game, I guess, because I do want to play it. I actually did enjoy Final Fantasy VII Remake. I liked the cool graphics, but also like switching between characters. I fucking love like RPGs where you can switch between characters and like choose which character you want to fight as. I wish you could like free roam with all these characters, but you know, can't always get what you want, can you? Um, and then I guess this new one, it's even more open world or something. And I might even like just watch people play it before I even play it because I think it's a fun story. I like the characters. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like Tifa? Who doesn't like Cloud Stripe? I mean, Cloud Stripe's kind of a dullard, but everyone else is pretty cool. Um, but that's the state of play, and that's what's happening in gaming these days. Okay, we don't have to watch that anymore. Stop. Pause. Why does it? Fuck. Shut up. Maybe I'll just exit that. Here, let's just quit that freaking thing. And there we go. It's gone.